So hello students, in this video we are going to discuss this complete chapter carbon and its compound so that your syllabus can be completed with this video, and all the revision work you can do it by using the video and watching this video. So here we continue that this carbon and its compound. In this chapter we are going to study about the carbon, its properties, chemical as well as physical properties, and we'll discuss about how it forms bonding with the other elements or atoms. Now here you know that the atomic number of carbon is 6, electronic configuration is 2 and 4, first shell is complete, it has 2 electrons, second shell is the L shell which contains 4 electrons. Okay, now the valence shell, that means the outermost shell is called as the valence shell, it is L shell, and the valence electrons, that means the number of electrons present in the outermost orbit, it is 4. So 4 valence electrons are present in it. Now we are talking about the bonding. You know that when any atom has either 1, 2 or 3 electrons in the outermost orbit, that means they require 7, 6 and 5 electrons to complete their octet. Okay, so in this such a number of electrons, neither they can't receive nor they can donate. Okay, so that means the 7, 6 and 5 electrons are not received by the atom, and thus the octet cannot be completed. So in this case what will happen, the elements which are having 1, 2 and 3 electrons in the outermost orbit, they used to donate their electrons and they gain the positive charge. But when we are talking about the elements which are having 5, 6 and 7 electrons in the outermost orbit, so they used to gain the electron, that means 3 electrons, 2 electrons and 1 electron. These elements or the atom, they gain 3, 2 or 1 electron to complete the octet. But now in case of carbon is having 4 electrons. So just because of the presence of the 4 electrons, carbon neither can donate nor can receive the electrons, and in this case it will share the electron, because the donation and gaining of 4 electron is not possible. So here what it does, that it shares its 4 electrons with the other atom and complete its octet. So when the atom share its electrons with the other atom, during that sharing, that atom forms the covalent bonding or covalent bond. And the compounds which are formed by covalent bond, they have low melting and boiling point because they are not dissociated into their ions. So as a result, they form the weak bond, that means covalent bonds are weak bond and it can be easily broken. That's why these compounds which are formed by sharing of electrons or which have covalent bonding, they have low melting and boiling point. Now we'll discuss this content further. Now students, here we will discuss about the covalent bonding and the compounds which are formed by covalent bonds. So here you know that covalent bond means the sharing of electrons, where the atoms share their electrons and they form the compound. The first here we'll discuss about, first of all, hydrogen molecule. You know the formation of or the formula of hydrogen molecule, that is H2. Atomic number of hydrogen is 1. Number of electrons is 1. That means in first shell of the hydrogen only 1 electron is present, and to complete its outermost orbit, that means the first shell, it requires 1 more electron. So and over here you know that 2 hydrogen atoms are present to form 1 molecule. Now when we talk about the electron dot structure of hydrogen is there 1 atom, or if I write it over here, this is 1 electron, 1 hydrogen atom having 1 electron, and this is the other hydrogen atom with another electron. That means this electron is of this hydrogen and this electron is of this hydrogen. So what will happen to complete its first or the outermost orbit, that means the first shell should have 2 electrons. So in this way this hydrogen shares this electron of the second hydrogen and it has 2 electrons in its outermost orbit. And this hydrogen will also share its electron in this way. And here it forms the hydrogen molecule. Now we will talk about the second example, that is of chlorine molecule or Cl2, that is bonding occurs between two chlorine atoms. Okay, so atomic number of chlorine is 17. Electronic configuration is 2, 8 and 7. Now this require one electron so that it can complete its octet. Okay, so here what happens, if we draw the electron dot structure of chlorine, then what we have, this is the chlorine, or I'll write it over here. This is chlorine, Cl, and now 7 electrons will mention 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and this is the other chlorine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, so now this chlorine, it has 7 electrons, so it will share 1 electron of this chlorine atom, and this chlorine atom will share this electron of the other, and in this way it will complete its octet and it will have 8 electrons in the outermost orbit, thus forms the chlorine molecule. Now when we talk about the molecule of water, okay, so here you know that the formula of water is H2O, and atomic number of hydrogen is 1 and atomic number of oxygen is 8. Okay, so here see, hydrogen atomic number is 1 and oxygen is 8. Okay, so 8, that means electronic configuration will be 2 and 6. So it requires 2 electrons to complete its octet. So how it will form the water molecule? We have one hydrogen over here and the other hydrogen over here and oxygen, because the formula of water is H2O. Okay, so now hydrogen will have 1 electron, this hydrogen will have 1 electron, and oxygen will have 6 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So in this way this oxygen will share 2 to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In this way the octet of oxygen is completed by sharing the electrons of these two hydrogen, and this hydrogen, it will complete its first shell by sharing the electron of this oxygen, and it will share. In this way the molecule of water, or we say the electron dot structure of H2O, is completed. So in the same way, when we talk about the covalent bonding, because here when sharing is done, covalent bonding is done. That means covalent bonds are formed. Now when we talk about the carbon compounds and the covalent bonding, we'll discuss over here now covalent bonding and the carbon compounds. Now here students, we are discussing about the properties of covalent compounds. That means they are having low melting and boiling points. That means though the covalent compounds, they look to be strong, but their intermolecular forces of attraction, that is very, very weak. That's why when we heat, they melt very easily. That's why they are having very low melting and boiling point. Then the next thing is that they don't dissociate into its ions, because they are not formed by gaining or donating of the electrons. They are formed by the sharing of electrons. And when electrons, or we say that electrons are shared in compound formation, then when these are dissociated, they don't dissociate into ions. And when ionic form is not there, that means no conduction of electricity. That means they are poor conductors of electricity. So here these are the properties. Now we'll discuss about the allotropy. Next term is allotropy, or we call them as allotropes. Substances are called as allotropes and the property is called as allotropy. Now what is allotropy? That means if any substance it exists in more than one physical form. So that substance is called as the allotrope, and the property is called as allotropy. And carbon has this property, that means carbon it exists in more than one physical form. So here we study about the different allotropes of carbon. The first is diamond. Second one is graphite. And the third one is Buckminster fullerene, or we call it as fullerene. Okay. So now here we'll discuss about the differences between the diamond, graphite and fullerene. Okay. So here you can see that diamond, you know that diamond is the hardest substance present on the earth. The maximum we say it is the most hardest substance. Then a diamond is completely formed of carbon only. Graphite is also completely formed of carbon, and fullerene is also completely formed of carbon. Now we'll discuss about the differences between diamond and graphite, because fullerene maximum properties are unknown. Only just now it was recently discovered allotrope, and it is said that it is just like a football like structure. It and consists of near about 60 carbon atoms. Okay. Now we'll discuss about the differences between diamond and graphite. Now here look at the differences between the diamond and graphite. The diamond, it occurs naturally in free state. That means as it is there, it is found in the nature, and it is in the free state. That means it is not found with any impurities. And when we talk about the graphite, it occurs naturally as well as it is manufactured artificially also. Okay. So second thing is that it is diamond, when we see that it found to be transparent. Okay, and it is opaque. That means you cannot see, or we cannot see anything from the diamond. That's why it is said to be as opaque, because it undergo total internal reflection, and due to that it shines brightly. And when we talk about the graphite, graphite is a black in color. And the structure of the diamond is that it is occur in the octahedral crystal. It occur as octahedral. Octa is for 8. Okay, so in that manner octahedral crystal structure is there, whereas for graphite it is hexagonal crystal. It is a hexagonal, that means 6 sides are there. And then diamond, it is a non-conductor, or we say it is a poor conductor of heat and electricity, whereas graphite is the good conductor of heat and electricity. Now what is the reason behind the poor conductor of heat and electricity, and over here graphite is good conductor of electricity? Though both are made up of carbon. Diamond is also made up of carbon and graphite is also made up of carbon, and these two forms, they are completely different from each other. One is the bad conductor of electricity and the other is the good conductor of electricity. This is just because of the presence or absence of a free electron. When we talk about the diamond, in diamond, when we say that this is the carbon, it's all the 4 electrons, these are occupied, or they are covalently bonded with the other atom, other carbon atom. So here one carbon atom is attached with 4 other carbon atom. In this way all the carbon atoms, or all the electrons, they are occupied covalently with the other atom, and hence there is no free electron. When there is no free electron, that means no conductivity of electricity. That means it is not a good conductor, or it is a poor conductor. But when we talk about graphite, in graphite one carbon is joined with, or it is covalently bonded with 3 other carbon atom, and 1 electron is free. 1 electron is free. That means in 1 carbon atom 1 electron is free, and due to the presence of this free electron, graphite is the good conductor of electricity. Okay, and this graphite, we say that it is used as lubricants in heavy machines also, because of its sliding movement. Because here this structure of graphite, due to the presence of this free electron, it appears to be a sheet like structure, that is one sheet is sliding over the other, and due to the sliding structure, it is used as a lubricant in heavy machines. Now we'll continue with the topic. Now here you can see the question over here, why is carbon called as a versatile element? Okay, so now the reason is that because of its tetravalency, that means carbon has 4 electrons in the outermost orbit, or we say that it has 4 valence electron, and the valency is 4. So due to this 4 electrons in the valence shell, we said that this carbon is having the valency of 4, and this is the tetravalency. Because of this tetravalency, it has the capability to share the electrons. All these 4 electrons, these are shared with the other atoms. They may be same or they may be different. So in this way, this is also this property makes the carbon a versatile element. Second is the catenation property. Catenation property means that interlinking, means one carbon atom, it can link with the other carbon atom, and in that linkage it may forms the long chain of carbon atom, or it may form the branching of the carbon atom, or it may form the ring structure also. So this property of linkage is said to be as the catenation. That means self-linking of the carbon or self-linking of the atom, either in the chain, branched or in ring form, is called as catenation, and both these properties are with the carbon. Carbon shows tetravalency, carbon also shows catenation. So here we say that carbon is the versatile element. Students, just now we discussed about the versatile nature of the carbon. That is, first one is it shows tetravalency. Second, it shows the property of catenation, that is forming a long chain as well as branch chain or ring-like structure. And the third one is that it forms multiple bonding. Multiple bonding, it shows multiple bonding. That means it may form single bond, double bond or triple bond. So that these 3 properties, it shows that the carbon is having a versatile character or versatile nature, or we say that carbon is a versatile element. Now on the basis of this multiple bonding, carbon may have single bond, carbon may have double bond, or carbon may have triple bond. And on this bonding, we say, on the basis of this bonding, we categorize carbonic compounds into 2 categories. One is unsaturated and the other one is said to be as saturated. Now we'll discuss these saturated and unsaturated carbon compounds in detail. Now here you can see that hydrocarbons. Now here we are discussing about the hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are the compounds of carbon and hydrogen. Where carbon and hydrogen, they are combined, they are called as hydrocarbons. And these hydrocarbons, on the basis of the bonding between the carbon and carbon atom, they are categorized into 2 categories. The first is said to be as a saturated hydrocarbon and the other is said to be as unsaturated hydrocarbon. Now again we categorize the saturated hydrocarbons. They contain, means in saturated hydrocarbon compounds, the carbon-carbon atoms, they have single bond between them. That means only one pair of electron is being shared over here. For one covalent bond, one pair of electron is shared. One pair of electron is shared. And when we talk about the unsaturated hydrocarbon, these are further categorized into 2. That means the double bond, that where the 2 pairs of electrons are being shared between the 2 carbons, and here 3 pairs of electrons are shared between the 2 carbons. So here we say that 2 pairs of electrons are shared, and over here 3 pairs of electrons are shared. So on this basis, they are categorized or they are given certain name. That means this saturated with single bond between the two carbon atoms, they are categorized, they are named as alkane. They are named as alkane, and this hydrocarbon which contain double bond between the two carbons, they are named as alkene. And this one third, unsaturated hydrocarbon containing triple bond between the two carbon atoms, they are categorized as, or they are named as alkyne. So on this basis, hydrocarbons with single bond, they are named as alkane. Hydrocarbons with double bond, they are named as alkene. And hydrocarbons with triple bond, they are named as alkyne. So now here we'll discuss about the members of these three hydrocarbons, alkane, alkene and alkyne. See, the first member of alkane series is methane. Methane. So you have to remember the name: methane, ethane, propane. Then we come to the butane, pentane, hexane, and heptane, octane, nonane, decane. So that comes to be the series, and even more than that. Now when we talk about alkene, same way, but here you can see that here two carbons are there. Okay, when we talk about in this, for methane, methane is one carbon compound. Okay, and it is bonded with a single, or we say single bond with the other atom. So when single bond is formed, that means a single carbon can combine or can form bond with the other atom. Two carbons are not required for the first member. So that means methane, it has one carbon. Methane, it has only one carbon, and the next are the 4 hydrogen atoms are there. But when we talk about alkene and alkyne, they require 2 carbons for the first member. That means their first member begins with 2 carbon compound. And the 2 carbon compound is name is ethene. Ethene, propene, butene, pentene, and in this way continue. And for this, ethyne, propyne, butane, pentyne, and so on. So the first member in alkene and alkyne will be 2 carbon compound. First member in alkane will be only 1 carbon compound. Here we will discuss now the structural formula and the molecular formula of these alkane, alkene and alkyne, or saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons. Now students, here we are going to discuss about the structure of hydrocarbons or carbon compound. First of all, we will discuss about the alkane. The first member of alkane is CH4, that means first carbon compound, and its name is methane. Why it is named as methane? Because the first member is meth and ane comes to be for the alkane. This suffix is over here. Suffix of alkane is used as a suffix of its name. So it comes to be the name as methane. Now when we talk about the molecular formula, you know that this is the structural formula. When we spread it, then it is said to be as a structural formula. Structure is formed, that how many atoms are covalently attached with the carbon. So one carbon here, it is bonded with 4 hydrogen carbon. Okay, one carbon is bonded with 4 hydrogen atom, and now here this is the electron dot structure. Okay, so when we talk about the electron dot structure, we know that we have to take only the valence electrons. One, this is the carbon, it has 4 valence electrons, so I had mentioned with the cross, and each electron is covalently bonded with hydrogen. So hydrogen, it has only 1 electron in the outermost orbit. So hydrogen share this 1 electron of carbon, and it completes the first shell, that is 2 electrons. So all the 4 hydrogen will share the electrons with the carbon. Now in this way, First shell of hydrogen is completed by sharing one electron. But when we talk about the carbon, you can see that in this way, carbon also complete its octet by sharing the electrons of these 4 hydrogen. You can see over here 2, 4, 6 and 8. So this structure is called as the electron dot structure, and here we can easily understood and in convenient way, in a best manner we can understood the covalent bonding or the sharing of the electrons. Now when we talk about the second member of alkane series, that is the 2 carbon compound, where 2 carbons they are covalently joined with the other hydrogen atoms. Now here the first thing what we have to remember when we make the electron dot structure or the structural formula of the carbon compounds, we have to check the valency. We know that each carbon, when we are talking about the carbon has 4 valence electrons. So first of all we have to mention the 4 electrons of carbon. Okay, now in this each valency, though this compound is what it is, alkane, it is the member of alkane, so it is having or it shares only 1 electron. That means the sharing of 1 pair of electron is done. So what will happen, first of all we have to fulfill the valency and then we have to check the number of electrons. So here you can see that this carbon, 1 carbon and this is the other carbon, mention mark a cross with the valence electron of this carbon, and this is also shown with a cross. The valence electron of this carbon is also shown with a cross. Then with this dot, it indicates the electron of the hydrogen in this way, here also. Now this carbon, here you can see that this hydrogen valency or the first orbit is completed. The 2 electrons in the outermost orbit is completed by sharing the electrons with the carbon. And now we have to check the octet of carbon. Okay, so here you can see that 2, 6, and now this carbon shares 1 electron of the other carbon. In the same way, this carbon will share another electron of the other carbon, and in this manner it will complete its octet. Now here we have the electron dot structure of ethane. This is ethane. And this one is methane. When we write in this form, in the formula manner, this is called as the molecular formula, and when we write in this manner, this is called as the structural formula. So just remember what's the difference between molecular formula, this one, structural formula, and the electron dot structure. So in this manner, you can draw the electron dot structure of the other members of alkane series. Now we'll go through the alkene series, how the electron dot structure is made and how the this one structural formula and molecular formula occurs or varies. Now here you can see the structural formula. We'll talk about the alkene, how the structural formula and the electron dot structure of alkene is made. You know that in alkene the first carbon compound is 2 carbons. There should be 2 carbons, okay, because the first member in alkane is methane, but now here in alkene it is the 2 carbon compound, that is ethene. Okay, in alkane it is methane, that means the only single carbon is present, whereas in alkene the first member is ethene, that means 2 carbon is present, because there is a there should be 2 electrons or 2 bonding, we say the double bond between the 2 carbon atoms. So here now we'll discuss about the electron dot structure, or we'll discuss about the structure formula. When we write down about the formula, we have to first of all remember the valency. First of all we have to fulfill the valency of the carbon, and the remaining valency should be fulfilled with the hydrogen. So here we write 2 carbons, and in between 2 carbons, though it is a member of alkene, so here it should be 2 bonds. So we'll write down double bond, and now the 2 bond is filled. Now 2 electrons are left. So 1 and 2 valency is filled, then the third and the fourth. In this way 4 valency of carbon is, or tetravalency of carbon is fulfilled. In the same way over here 2, 3 and 4. The valency is filled, and now these we write over here hydrogen because it is a hydrocarbon, it is bonding with hydrogen. Now when we talk about the electron dot structure, in the same manner we write down over here two carbons and carbon first of all we have to fulfill the valency of the carbon 1, 2, 3, 4. Then for this carbon 1, 2, 3, 4. In this way the valency of carbon is fulfilled. Now this carbon is bonding, covalently bonding with the hydrogen, and this over here another hydrogen. That means one carbon is bonding with two hydrogens, and over here also one carbon is bonding with the other two hydrogens. Now in this way hydrogen first shell is completed, that is with 2 electrons. Now how the octet of carbon is completed. So here you can see that 4 electrons comes from here, 2 and 2, 4, and now 4 electrons over here. That means the octet is completed. Now when we talk about for this second carbon, here 4 and then this 4, the octet is completed. So this is the electron dot structure for ethene. Now we went to talk for propene. Propene is what? It is a 3 carbon compound. 3 carbon compound, that is alkene, and over here one double bond should be there. That means between 2 carbons one double bond is there. So we have mentioned over here one double bond and the other carbon is attached with a single bond only. So in this we have the formula C3H6. Now when we draw the electron dot structure, here again we fulfill the valency of the carbon and this is attached with the hydrogen. Now for completing the octet of this carbon, 2 electrons, and this here for this carbon. Now this one, in this manner we will fulfill 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now for this carbon here 2 to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in this way the octet of these carbons are fulfilled and we have the electron dot structure, and this is the structural formula, this is the molecular formula. Now we'll discuss about the alkyne. So in this way when we make the electron dot structure, we'll write down the structural formula for alkane. We can write it down for all the members. Now for alkyne we'll discuss over here. Alkyne. In alkyne we know that there is triple bond. So I'll make over here, this is triple bond. Hydrogen are removed. So now this is triple bond here and it will come to be as ethyne. It is named as ethyne. The suffix will come YNE as a suffix of alkyne. Okay. So now when we draw the electron dot structure of ethyne, then it is also very easy, very simple. 2 carbons are there. We'll take the 2 carbons. Okay. And over here we know that 3 pairs of electrons are shared because for one bonding, 1 pair of electrons. So 1, 2, 3. And over here in this way 1, 2, 3 and this. So this electron is bonded covalently by hydrogen, and over here also hydrogen, and these pairing or sharing of electron is done between the 2 carbons. So it forms the structure or electron dot structure of ethyne. So here the formula will be C2H2. Now when we talk about the 3 carbon compound of alkyne series. 3 carbon, 1, 2, 3 and triple bond between over here 2 carbons. Then one valency is free, so we'll write down over here hydrogen 3 and 1, 4. So no hydrogen should be there in the center, and now this carbon will have 1 hydrogen. Okay, so in this way this was the structural formula of propyne. Okay, so now when we write down the molecular formula, it comes to be C3H, 3 and 1, 4. Okay, C3H4. Now we'll draw the electron dot structure of this. First of all, make the carbon, 3 carbons, then 3 electrons pairing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and over here 1 electron, 1. Now here left with 1 electron, Those all 4 electrons are shared. This carbon, it is left with 3 electrons, and now these are fulfilled with hydrogen. So the valency is fulfilled with hydrogen. Now the sharing of electrons with the carbon, 2 and 3 plus 3. So 3 plus 3, 6 plus 2, 8. So here octet is completed for this carbon. Now when we talk with this carbon, 3 electrons plus 3, 6 and 2 electrons with this carbon. So here octet is completed. Now when we talk for this carbon, 2, 2, 4, 2, 6 and here 2, 8. Now the electron dot structure is completed by sharing the electron, and the octet is completed over here. So this is the electron dot structure of propyne. This is the structural formula of propyne. Okay. Now we'll discuss how can we find out the number of hydrogen, or the formula, molecular formula of the compound. Okay. Now this is just because you have to remember the general formula. General formula, where we can write down the number of the carbon and we can know the number of hydrogen. For example, first of all we'll talk about alkane, then we'll talk alkene, and then comes the alkyne. So the general formula for alkane is CnH2n plus 2. General formula for alkene is CnH2n, and for alkyne is CnH2n minus 2. Now what is the implementation, and how can we use this formula in finding the number or the molecular formula? For example, if I say over here Cn, if n equals to 5, if n equals to 5, then I'll write down over here, in place of n I'll write down 5, then H, then 2 multiplied by 5 plus 2. So the formula of this comes to be C5H 10 plus 2, 12. So this is the formula of C5, 5 carbon, that means pent. So here this is the molecular formula of pentane. And if you want to verify this, you can simply write down 5 carbons and then fulfill the valency with 1 hydrogen, and then count the number of hydrogen. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Here are the 12 hydrogen. So by knowing the number of carbon, we can find out the number of hydrogen. So in this way, this formula helps. Now when we talk about alkene, alkene here CnH2n. Again for the same 5 we take C5H2n, here comes to be 10. That means when we are talking about alkene, that means there should be one double bond. And suppose if I take double bond over here, okay, so that means 2 hydrogens are removed, and then comes the double bond. So here directly we'll minus 2 hydrogen, 12 minus 2, that comes to be 10. So here comes the 10, and the name will comes to be pentane. Okay, now when we talk about alkyne, alkyne here comes to be 3 bond, or we say the triple bond. Okay, so now the same thing, 5 C5H 10 minus 2, that is 8. Okay, so now when I say there should be a triple bond over here, now remove 2 hydrogens and make the triple bond. When 2 hydrogens are removed from this, minus 2, you will get 8. So C5H8, it comes to be pentine, this pentine, 5 carbon. So here in this manner you can find out, the general formula, and you can find out the number of hydrogen in that carbon compound. Now students, here the next topic is isomerism. Isomerism means it is the property of the compounds in which the compounds have the same molecular formula, but when they are written in the structural formula form, they show different structural formula. Okay, so that means here the compounds having same molecular formula but different structural formula, and these compounds they are called as isomers, and the property is called as isomerism. Now what is this, how it is represented? We'll just look over here. If we talk about alkane and the first carbon compound is CH4. CH4 is written in this manner. This is the structural formula. In any case, when we will write it in this manner. That means this methane, it does not show any isomer. When we take the second carbon, C2H6. Okay, so here two carbons are there with hydrogen. And however you write it down, then it will comes to be in the same manner. That means it also don't have, and this also don't have any structure, different structure. Now when we talk about the third carbon, that is C3. So here you can see that this will also not show. When you arrange this in this manner, it will again form a straight chain, or you make it in this manner, then also it will form the same chain. That means this structure and this structure both are equal. They both are equal. So this will also not form any isomer. That means for carbon 1, carbon 2 and carbon 3, they don't show any isomer. But when we talk about compound which has 4 carbons, you can see over here, 4 carbon compound, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the valency is fulfilled with the hydrogen. Okay, so this is the first isomer, okay, which we call as normal. Normal butane. And when we go for the other structure, how it can be formed? That means the branched. I already told you that these compounds either exist in a catenation property we have discussed, that they exist or they form the long chain, they form branches, branched structure, as well as they form the ring structure. So this chain, branching and the ring structure, these are called as the isomers. So now here you can see this is the first structure. Now for the second you can take this carbon. I'll draw here 1, 2 and 3, because for the there should be, over here we have written 3, then 1 carbon is present in branching with the other carbon, and now in this case we have the isomer. Okay. So this is normal butane. This comes to be known as isobutane. When the branching is done, this carbon can be either on the top, or we can make it arranged at the bottom. Whatever it is, if it is attached with the second carbon, it is attached over here with the second carbon, either we can write it at the bottom or we can make the branch on the top. Both are the same only, and in both cases it will be called as isobutane because 4 carbon are there. Got it? Now when we talk for pentane, 5 carbon are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this way branch chain is there. This will be the normal pentane. And when we talk about this is the normal chain, long chain, and when we talk about the branching, 1, 2, 3, then comes to be 1 on the top and 1 at the bottom, and now we fulfill the valency. In this manner, this comes to be the the other case, we can have the ring structure. Join this with this. 1, 2, or I'll draw over here. One carbon is joined with the other carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this manner, ring structure can also be formed. So these forms the isomers. Here we say that different structures are there, but the molecular formula remains the same. And these compounds, they can form the catenation property, they can form the long chain, they can form the branch chain, as well as they can form the rings. Now we discuss about the functional groups. When we talk about the functional groups, okay, functional groups, they have a special property. That means due to the presence of the specific functional group, the compounds show specific properties. Now, what are the different functional groups and how they differ, how they are arranged, that we will discuss now. Now here we are discussing about the functional group. You can see over here functional groups are of 5. We have to study only about the 5 functional group. The first functional group is said to be as the halo group. Halo group is referred to the word halogen, and in this the members comes from group 17. You have studied about the periodic table. In periodic table, group number 17 members, that is fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. These are the members of group 17 and they are called as the halogens. So these they are members of the halo groups. When we talk about, suppose in this, if we talk about this, if one carbon compound, if I take methane, okay, CH4, and in this, if we write down the structural formula of this methane, CH4. Now when this methane, it reacts with one chlorine molecule. This is a chlorine atom. When I am talking about the molecule, it means 2 chlorine are there which forms the covalently joined together and they form the molecule. Now this chlorine molecule, when it is there, it breaks the bond between the covalent bond between chlorine and chlorine, it breaks, and a bond or any bond of this carbon and hydrogen, it breaks. Now this hydrogen, it reacts with this chlorine and it forms HCl, which is removed in the form of gas, and this hydrogen is occupied, or this place or position of this hydrogen is occupied by this chlorine. So here it comes that this is 3 hydrogen and comes over here Cl. So it comes to be CH3Cl, and the name of this compound now is not methane. We don't call it as methane because one hydrogen has been removed. Now due to this chlorine, okay, chlorine atom, it has attached with this methane molecule, it has replaced one hydrogen. So now it will be called as or named as chloromethane. Chloromethane. Okay, so this is the naming, how it is being named. Now if it would be fluorine, then we will call it as fluoromethane, bromomethane, iodomethane. So in this manner, this halogen, it will react with the alkane group by substituting hydrogen. Now we talk about the next functional group, that is keto group. In keto group, this carbon, it has one oxygen with double bond, and here you can see this one dash, that means one bond is over here and one bond is over here. This means that keto group is present between the 2 carbon atoms. That means the compound which is over here, first keto compound, it should be a 3 carbon compound. Okay, that means first 1, 2 and 3, and the second carbon will have the double bonded or this keto group, and the other carbon valency is fulfilled. In this manner, this is keto group is placed, that means in the center or in between the two carbon atoms. Now, when we talk about the third functional group, that is the aldehyde group, COH or CHO. So here you can see that only one valency of carbon is left. That means it is at the terminal position. So here when we talk about the two carbon, here this end is fulfilled, that is 2, 3 and 4 valency of carbon is fulfilled, and now this carbon valency we fulfill with the hydrogen. So here this comes to be the first member of aldehyde, or this is the second member, and even we say that this carbon will have one hydrogen. So this is the first member of this aldehyde functional group, and when we talk about the second member, this comes to be this one, and this is named to be as the methanol. Here this is the suffix and this is the prefix. The prefix of the aldehyde is named to be placed as the suffix methanol, and this two carbon compound with aldehyde group, and it is said to be as ethanol. Okay, now we talk about the fourth one, that is the alcohol group. Alcohol group is placed over here. We can say that if we talk about methane, and in place of one hydrogen, if it is replaced by OH, then it is said to be as methanol. When two carbons are there, then it is said to be as ethanol. Nol, alcohol. This one. This suffix will be the suffix of this name. Ethanol, methanol, propanol, butanol. In this way the naming is done. Now the last one is left. We talk about, that is the carboxylic group, or we say that it is the acidic group, and in this the suffix will comes to be oic. Oic acid. This will be the suffix of the compound which contain this functional group. For example, when we say that this is the acidic group, and I'll place hydrogen over here. Okay, one carbon compound is there, so we call it as methanoic acid. The naming is done as methanoic acid. And if it is two carbon compound, in place of this I'll put one carbon and I fulfill the valency with hydrogen, then it comes to be known as ethanoic acid, propanoic acid. Okay, so in this way the naming is done, and these are the different functional groups. One thing you have to remember, that when we talk about the functional group, if the members, or if we talk about the series, that methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane, hexane, heptane, octane, so in that series, if the series consists of only one functional group, okay, then their chemical properties and similar this one physical properties may vary, but the chemical properties remains the same. But if their functional group is different, then their physical as well as the chemical properties varies. Okay, so the chemical properties remains the same when they belong to the members of the same functional group. And when the members of the same different functional groups are there, then we say that their chemical properties also varies. Now we talk about the homologous series. What is homologous series? Now students, here we talk about the homologous series. Homologous series means it is a series of compounds in which one functional group is there, and here this compound is substituting with the hydrogen. That means the functional group has taken the position of one hydrogen. So you can see the definition over here, series of compounds in which the same functional group substitutes for hydrogen. That means the functional group remains the same in that complete series. For example, if I talk about alkane series. Alkane series, any alkane series, if I am talking about the functional group, say chlorine. Okay, the first member is methane, and when we talk about the chlorine attached, then we call it as chloromethane. The formula will be, you can see that CH3 and one hydrogen is substituted here. You can see that substitutes for hydrogen. One hydrogen is substituted by chlorine. So this is the structural formula. Now we talk about the second carbon, that is chloroethane. That means two carbons are there, and in these two carbons, one hydrogen is replaced by one chlorine. That means the functional groups remains the same. Okay, then we talk about the third, chloropropane. Okay, when we talk about the propane, then three carbons, one hydrogen is substituted by one chlorine, then we write down hydrogen. In this way, the valency of the carbon is fulfilled. Okay, now one chlorine, one chlorine, one chlorine. That means functional group is same, but their formula is different. Here comes to be CH3Cl, here comes to be C2H5Cl, here comes to be C3H7Cl. So here what will happen? The functional group is same and the molecular formula is different, but we are not talking about the molecular formula. We say that in the homologous series, the functional groups remains the same with increasing carbon number. So here what you see, what you find the difference? When we find out the difference, that is CH3 and over here is C2H5. What is the difference between these two? The difference is of CH2, one carbon and two hydrogen. When we talk about this, again the difference is of CH2. So that means in a homologous series, difference between the two members is two successive members is CH2. Okay, they vary by CH2 and the molecular formula vary by, when we take out the molecular formula, carbon atomic mass is 14 and hydrogen is 1. Two hydrogen are there, so we can find out 16. So that means, atomic mass of carbon is 12. So here comes out to be 14. So 14 is the difference between the atomic masses of two successive compounds of a homologous series with the same functional group. Okay, so in this manner we say that the chemical properties of the compounds are having the same functional group, they have the same chemical properties. So here we have completed with the chapter. Okay, now you just go through the video, revise it and go through your books also and complete the topic.